what's your thoughts on the possibility of playing behind closed doors?
Look, if it has to be done, it has to be done. To get us back out on the pitch and playing games. Because that's obviously, as a player, that's what you want to be doing. But that element of having no fans at a game would obviously be strange. Because that's the element that sort of gets you up for games, and that's why football is what it is, because of fans coming to games, creating atmospheres and the enjoyment factor that they get out of it, and players thrive off that, playing under maybe a bit of pressure or whatever. All that sort of is taken away if you're playing behind closed doors, and I'm sure if it happens, then it's obviously great to get back on the pitch and stuff, but there could be a difference in the way games are played and stuff.
Yeah, and I know at the moment there's a study ongoing about the financial implications of games with either reduced crowds or behind closed doors. As a player, how would you feel about, playing at Dalymount or wherever in front of nobody? Because, this season and last season with Bows, with only the two stands open, the stadium's been full with the stands that are open for nearly every match, and it would be very strange, I'm sure, to be playing there with nobody at it.
No, and to be honest, I don't think I'd enjoy it. I think getting to play in the League of Ireland and playing for Bows, the best part is it. You get to go out and play in front of the crowd every week. That's the best part of being a footballer, is like, you're lucky enough to play in front of a few thousand every week, and to play against each other with no one there. To be honest, I don't think I'd enjoy it. I really don't. It would just take away everything about it. And playing for Bows, that I'd nearly rather just go and play with my mates for my local team if it was like that, you know what I mean? So look, what do I know? I can only just give my opinion on it. It's the hierarchy that know, and whatever has to be done to help the clubs. If it means playing behind closed doors, you'll just have to get on with it.
What do you see as the scenario that might see you playing League of Ireland football again in the future?
I suppose it's a difficult one. Like, I know the HSE and the government have put out the guidelines that no more than 5,000 people. The events with more than 5,000 people have been cancelled up to the end of August. Now, it's rare that there's an event in a game in the League of Ireland with more than 5,000 people, but there is still that aspect of social distancing that will be required. So I know for probably most of the first division teams, the social distancing thing wouldn't be much of an issue because the crowds aren't amazing. But I know in the Premier Division, like, if you go to Inchicore maybe or even Dundalk, like, social distancing would certainly be an issue. But I can't see us playing football until at least September anyway. Which is, like I said, it's difficult. The most difficult thing is not knowing when we will be back. But look, like I said earlier, the public health is the most important thing.
Yeah, very well said. And, the talk of games behind closed doors and, clubs being financially in big trouble as it is, and possibly be able to get money from UEFA and FIFA, would you be, not a fan of that idea, because no one's a fan of that idea, but it is something that could be realistic, that, games might have to be behind closed doors if it's financially viable?
Yeah, look, I would rather play a game behind closed doors than not play a game at all, but I don't think that'll be up to us. That'll be up to the clubs, because if they're not getting any gate receipts, they might not be able to pay players or whatever. So I'm sure that won't be in our hands. Like I said, I'd rather play a game behind closed doors than not play at all. So that's my view on it.
As someone who has played in the league and who now is very heavily involved in representing players, and I know you guys have been, thankfully, with this new FAI, very involved in all the discussions, what do you see as a realistic timeline for the league to be back in any form where we're actually playing football matches?
Yeah, it's difficult to say at the moment. I suppose, look, May the 5th is a massive date, and see if restrictions are somewhat lifted. I don't know, possibly would elite players be allowed back into a training environment that's controlled, where players are tested? I know they're looking at it in England, and I think Spain today have come out and said that they're going to start testing players now with a view to them going back training. Look, lots of ifs and buts, and I'm sure there's a big cost around that as well. But it is difficult to say. Look, as I say, at the moment it's still June 19th is the start date, and there's been nothing concrete to say no, that's not going to go ahead, or yes, it is definitely going ahead, until we get to May the 5th and then see what the steps are from there. I think the FAI have come out and said as well, they're looking at kind of a feasibility study around playing behind closed doors and what it's going to take each club and the costing around that, and possibly streaming games. So I think you're just looking at trying to cover every eventuality and different start dates. But again, like, it's still, no one really knows, and it's hard for me to speculate as well. That no one really does know. And I say it'd be great to go June the 19th as a runner, even if it is behind closed doors and the clubs are happy to go ahead with that, and players can go, we're allowed back in training for 3 or 4 weeks beforehand, and the social distancing is still respected and all that. Look, there's a hell of a lot of work to be done, but I suppose the sooner that we get some kind of start date or something in place, that players and clubs and everyone can have something to aim for then.
Yeah, the behind closed doors thing and the streaming thing, I'm sure would be strange for players and managers and everybody involved, and of course supporters who have bought season tickets or who attend every week and go to all the away games. They wouldn't be able to go, but it would be football and it would be something. And that report yesterday about maybe the clubs trying to claim money back from UEFA and FIFA and stuff, like, I'm sure everybody would say if it was June or July or August even, where there's games on but there's no one there, it's still the League of Ireland playing football matches, which is something.
Yeah, I think we saw a few games there played behind closed doors, before there was a complete shutdown, and it was strange to say the least. And I'm sure, look, ask any player, they'd rather be playing in whether Tallaght Stadium in front of 5,000 or 6,000 than no one there. But I suppose again, they just want to play football, and people want to try and get back to some semblance of normality. And but look, there's a lot of work to be done around that. I mean, say if you're getting back to that, like, you're testing everyone that's going to be involved on the match day, like, say the safety and has got to be paramount of players, staff, everyone that's around that at the time. Even say if you're going back to training, or like, you have to have doctors on site, or how are they going to do the testing? There's so much stuff around that. But I say if you're back playing football, I'm sure the players would just want to get back playing. If it's behind closed doors as a stopgap for a month or two to get it up and running, and the clubs and everyone is rows in and we're good to go, I'm sure the players will be more than happy just to play. Obviously, ideally you want fans there. The game is about fans and creating an atmosphere and all. But if it comes to it and it's behind closed doors, as they say, for a month or two, I'm sure that they'll have studied everything and dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's to make sure that it is safe to do so. And we plough on and go ahead.